get to Encanto. Let's do it. Speaking of, everything we've reviewed today is on Disney Plus. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Encanto is a 2021. Actually, let me change the current topic there. There we go. Encanto is a 2021 American computer animated musical fantasy comedy film produced by Walt Disney Animation Studios and distributed by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures. It succeeds 2021's Raya and the Last Dragon as the 60th film produced by the studio. Encanto was directed by Jared Bush, Brian Howard, and Charisse Castro-Smith, who co-wrote the screenplay with Bush, all three of whom have contributed to most of Disney's latest cinematic triumphs like Tangled, Zootopia, and Moana. The film's original songs were written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, featuring the voices of Stephanie Beatrice of Brooklyn Nine-Nine fame, Maria Cecilia Botero, John Leguizamo, Mauro Castillo, Jessica Darrow, Angie Cepeda, Carolina Gaitan, Diane Guerrero, and Wilma Valderrama. The film follows a multi-generational Colombian family, the Madrigals, helmed by a matriarch whose children and grandchildren, except for Mirabel, played by Beatrice, receive magical gifts from a miracle that helps them serve the people in their rural community called the Encanto. When Mirabel learns that the family is losing their magic, she sets out to find out what is happening and save her family and their magical house. The film premiered at the El Capitan Theatre in LA in November of last year and received a 30-day theatrical run in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Although it underperformed at the box office, grossing over $243 million worldwide against a $120 to $150 million budget, Encanto achieved wider commercial success when it released onto Disney Plus on December 24, 2021. Its soundtrack went viral and reached number one on the US Billboard 200 and UK compilation albums charts. We Don't Talk About Bruno and Surface Pressure were two of its most successful songs, with the former topping the US Billboard Hot 100 and UK singles charts for multiple weeks. I just checked YouTube Music. The top songs there, the top three songs, 1, 2, and 3, but all three from Encanto. 2 months after the film's release. Crazy. Encanto has received several accolades, earning award nominations from various critic circles. It has won the Golden Globe Award for Best Animated Feature Film and the National Board Review Award for Best Animated Feature Film. At the 94th Academy Awards, the film has been nominated for Best Animated Feature, while its score and track Dos Orguitas, I listened to it earlier and I committed to memory, now it's lost, contend for Best Original Score and Best Original Song, respectively. Audiences have enjoyed Disney's latest effort, giving it an IMDb rating of 7.3 from 149,000 users, and critics feel similarly, awarding it a Metascore of 75. Rotten Tomatoes, gents, take a step.
80.
Yeah, I was gonna. Now,
Terry, go next, please.
85.
86.
91%.
Oh, it's me. It is me.
Night Chris. Thanks for joining us. Well, too bad, Jason, because this is a Disney movie, so I'm stealing the rights to go first.
Okay, go for it.
I really enjoyed this film. I've watched it twice. I watched it first time. Wasn't 100% hyped on it. Then went back, and after the second viewing, I think I'm really, really high on this film. A few reasons. Obviously, absolutely stunning, like we've said with, most animated feature films, whether it be from Walt Disney, DreamWorks, Pixar, they just get better and better and better. I think for this one in particular, the lighting and the texture of the faces, characters are starting to feel more human. Their skin appears more supple. In fact, I reckon you could line this up, against something like Moana from only 5-6 years ago and see a clear difference. So I think they've done really good work there. Soundtrack's really strong. Love a lot of songs. I'm sure we'll get into that. And just the trademark humor from Walt Disney Studios. I think this is something that they are on par with when it comes to Pixar now as well. So many fantastic moments of just like characters that behave over the top and would appear cringy in, I suppose, any other cinematic setting or type of film, but they do such a good job of explaining the rules of the world that we're currently exploring that it almost doesn't matter. I'm thinking about the character, Mirabel's mum heals people by feeding them, and there's one character who walks up to her and just like his arm snaps cleanly in half.
Yeah.
And he eats like a bit of Colombian food, and then his arm is immediately better. Like that in any other film would just be ridiculous. But it's just that over the top humor that I think has become a trademark, over the decades, that I really enjoy. I'll get into a couple of bit of the negatives later, but overall, I think the strengths of this film, I'm keen to hear from you guys, is the themes and the fact that it is not just another princess story. I love the idea of the importance that society places on talent and personal gifts, and what are you bringing to the world, and are you ever enough, and the weight of expectation, and also like that multi-generational divide of what it means to make your family proud. So yeah, I really enjoy this one. I think it's going to be one that creeps up my favorite list of Disney films as I revisit it. But I don't think it immediately slaps you in the face as like modern day classic. Anyway, Jason, I'll throw it to you, sir.
Thank you.
Encanto, what did you think?
So I was thinking, like, these songs are really catchy. They're very radio like, and then the credits rolled, and I was like, oh, okay, makes sense. So yeah, Lin-Manuel Miranda. I always like stumble. Am I saying his name right? It's Lin.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, like I think like I don't want to like him, right? Because it's like he's got his whole Hamilton thing going on, and I'm like, ugh, don't care for Hamilton. I said it. So yeah. So the songs, like, I've just been like listening to the Family Magical, like, which is the first song in the movie, in my head over and over again, and like I tried to listen to it to get it out of my head, but yeah, it's still there. The animation, everything is just like top notch, like you said already, Shane. But I think going into this, it's like it's hard for me to get into a Disney Pixar. I think it's like I'm predisposed to like, oh, kids film. And I know, like, I love a lot of kids' films, but it's just that thing in the back of my head. It's like, oh, kids' film, you're not going to like it, Jason.
Family film, Jason, all ages.
Family
all
film,
ages.
You're not going to like it, Jason. And so I'm like, okay. But then as I'm watching it, I need to be convinced that this is going to be fun, Jason. This is going to be fun. And by the end of the film, I'm 9 times out of 10, I've usually proved that, yeah, it is fun. It's a fun romp. There are a lot of things in it that maybe go, that doesn't makes sense, and like I'm still a bit confused. I mean, like the first song, she was just like rattling things like have you ever watched an episode of Gilmore Girls?
Yes.
No, actually.
Yes, I have. Jen loves it, rewatches it annually.
Yeah, like,
and then we'll
people
rewatch
do.
a year in the whatever Stars Hollow or whatever the re-release on Netflix was. Yeah,
they're just talking and talking and talking.
Yeah,
like
very snappy,
really,
quick dialogue.
Really fast, and I'm like, what am I watching right now?
You know those people that you talk to at parties and they're not listening to you, they're just waiting for you to stop so they can go?
Yeah.
The Gilmore Girls is like two people that are that, except that what they're saying actually goes back and forth. Like, they're not just going off on their own ideas all the time. They're just almost interrupting over the top of one another.
Yeah.
Somehow also having a cohesive conversation at the same time.
It reminds me a lot of my family.
So, like, listening into the songs and whatnot, trying to understand, especially the first song, trying to establish the universe. I'm thinking they're going, okay, so who's that? Where are they? What are these people's names and whatnot? So, so there's that, and I feel like, I don't know, maybe kids nowadays are like smarter, faster thinking, and faster talking now that they like understand it immediately. Like, oh, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, of course, like auntie. Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, and like I think the rules of like the house is magical, but like the house can't save itself from the tragedy or the disaster that's going to happen. It was a bit like confusing. Yeah, so there are some things like that, story wise and like in the universe wise, which was very interesting. But yeah, it sets up its rules really well. You know exactly what's going on, what's happening, and who's doing what and what now. And the character designs are really, you can see how their gifts given to them by the miracle has really affected their character design. which I thought was really, really cool.
Mm.
Speaking of characters, Stephanie Beatrice,
I love her voice.
like
I want
to
to say
me,
unrecognizable.
yeah,
in this
to
role. I
me,
would
she's
never have picked her.
Rosa. To
Yeah.
me, she's Rosa Diaz. I like
Yeah.
can't get that out of my head. But she's awesome, and she's like singing the lines and everything. It's like, damn, I need to watch Lego Movie 2 because apparently she's in that a lot. So and
I haven't seen Lego Movie 2, I don't think.
and I spoiled the cast a little bit for myself because I wanted to check some info on IMDb, and we've already said it at the top of the show. John Lasagna is
Leguizamo.
he's in it as well. So I was like, I'm
Yeah.
waiting for him to like pop up, and it just wasn't clicking that he
Yeah.
was Bruno.
I didn't pick him. Do you know the guy from New Girl?
No.
Oh gosh, what's his name?
Discount Oscar Isaac.
Something.
Charlie Day.
Yeah, Discount Oscar Isaac is the one that I'm thinking of, Ben. That guy is who
Yeah.
I thought it was.
Right.
Because the voice sounds way more like him than it does
It's
John
not,
Leguizamo.
It's not adult Peter Parker in Spider-Verse, is it? Is that the actor?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, Peter B. Parker.
Peter B. Parker.
Yeah, but it's not like I thought it was him, but it's not. It's John Leguizamo, but it didn't sound like John Leguizamo.
Yeah.
Because like to me, John Leguizamo sounds like a
Johnson.
clown from Spawn.
I knew it was
Jake Johnson.
Jake
Yes.
That's it, Jake Johnson.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like as for and I guess it's just because of me, and they've gotten a lot of like Latina like actors and voice actors in it as well. Thought it was really cool. So definitely want to see more of John Lasagna in there. And I want to see more Stephanie Beatrix do more voice acting work because she was awesome.
And can sing.
And can sing.
He was singing
Yeah.
in all those songs. I checked the credits to make sure.
Yeah. Oh, I watched the video afterwards. I was like, is she actually doing it? But yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, I think very, very nice, colorful. Definitely one I'm going to go back and watch again. I think it's for the family. The kids are really gonna love like listening to the songs over and over again. And as you said at the top of the show, top of the segment, like this has been on the top 3 of the YouTube music.
Yeah,
chart.
We Are Bruno is number 1, and then I think Family Madrigal was 3. I forget number 2, but Surface Pressure was at number 10 as well.
Yeah, which doesn't surprise me.
All of it.
It absolutely floors me. I cannot be more surprised at this fact. Like these aren't songs; they're just beats with words. Like there's so many words. Like that first song that you've got stuck in your head, Jason. That's like 20,000 words of.
Look,
lyrics.
I'm not. The thing is, like,
insane.
I'm not retaining the verses or anything. I'm just remembering the tune.
Tune of the words. The lyric. There's no like. Can you name like 4 instruments, or do they have any?
Sure, there's the thingamajig and the
That's so surprising to me. And when I learned that the We Don't Talk About Bruno song is like beaten like Let It Go for
250 million views on Disney's YouTube channel.
Really?
I'm just convinced that this must just be some sort of group thing. Like it's I'll listen to it because it's popular, because everybody is kind
it's
of
popular
thing.
because it's popular. Yeah.
Like I don't love Let It Go because I mean it's for little girls or whatever, but it is way better of a song than all the songs in Encanto are, as far as a song is concerned.
I remember like hearing Let It Go for the first time in the cinema, and I was like, that's a hit there.
Absolutely. I remember we spoke about it on the podcast back in the day, and we were like,
you called it, Ben. You said like, I reckon that's a song that could be played on the radio, and lo and behold, careful what you wish for.
I immediately
I
immediately downloaded the soundtrack to Frozen after we watched it that day, which I think I've only ever done one other time, which was for the Tron movie, the Tron Legacy.
Nice.
After watching that film, like again, instantaneously, I'm like, I need that soundtrack in my life forever.
I mean, the hook for Let It Go is so like I don't need to tell you about the hook for Let It Go. Compare that to the hook for We Don't Talk About Bruno, which is just the title of the song, and no. I mean, what is that? There's
Oh,
no.
Vicky chimes in chat saying we don't talk about Bruno got popular on TikTok. That probably explains most of the hype around it. I think the same thing happened with our Blinding Lights from Old
Yeah,
Mates.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. The Weeknd.
Blanking. Thank you.
Right. I'm starting to feel a little better now that there's non-merits of the song explanations for why the songs are so popular, because the songs are garbage in my opinion. Like
You
compared
didn't
to
like We Don't Talk About Bruno?
no.
Oh, wow.
That's the only song that I remember a single line from.
Yeah, well, to be honest, me too. When it comes to the lyrics, the first song, I am glazed over.
Not
It's like, I'm going to introduce you to 18 characters in 2 minutes. Let's go. And I'm like, I'm fucked. If I have to retain, if I have to remember any of this, I'm done. If this is on the exam, I'm going to fail. And the Bruno song is much slower, and the name of the song and the theme of the song is about this guy Bruno that we don't talk about.
But even musically, it's simpler and easier to digest. Like everything about the song is easier to follow.
Yeah, totally. So I agree with you. Those are the lines of the words I took home. It's like, okay, I know what this song is about. It's conveying a message or whatever. But still, like, that isn't. I was sitting there thinking, like, this is the weakest song of the movie. Honestly, that's where my frustration peaks. Is that song in particular is the most popular one. Is the one that gets me the most. Like, I'm just like, but why? It's so trash. I hate that song the most out of all of them. Like, none of them really rose to the level of, like, I want to hear that again.
And again and again.
Certainly
and
not
again and again and again.
But certainly not the Bruno one. No. That's what I say.
Nice. I see you did that.
Sorry, I hijacked you.
No, that's fine. I think the ball has been passed around to.
Keep going, Ben. I was going to throw it to you
Yeah.
and cite. I remember when we reviewed Frozen on the Awesome Addiction that you called the first act the most efficient first act you've ever seen, and it's like the guys at Disney said, "Hold my beer." We're gonna do it in half the time.
We're gonna set up 10 two-dimensional characters that are their powers in this song that is a medley of insane BPM. And here we go. And they do it. And I didn't understand a word of it.
It's like it was too efficient. It's like
too efficient, yeah.
Yeah, you put too much content and information in too short a time.
It was too efficient that it lost effectiveness.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now the other thing. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just going to mention Billy Madison, but never mind.
It kind of reminds me, like, just to quickly chime in, it's like, it's how I feel when we go into the mirror dimension in Doc Strange. I'm just like, there is so much going on. I don't know what to care about. And I don't know if there are any stakes there. Is anyone in danger at the moment? Are you falling? Are you flying? I can't tell.
Let me put myself down a peg, because, like, it was 15 minutes before the end of the movie before I learned what the main character's name was. Because I couldn't parse.
Come on, you didn't know about Encanto? She's the main character.
The syllables that people were saying when they were saying Mirabelle. They were going Mirabelle, and I thought her name was something like a bell. Mirabelle. And I was like, what the fuck is this girl's name? What are they saying? And then eventually I'm like, is her name Mirabelle? Is that what it is? Why don't they say 3 syllables instead of 17 syllables to say Mirabelle? I do not understand what's happening in this movie. I was total old man shaking.
Confused old man yelling at the TV.
Yeah, I was just, but I mean, I can't help it. I was trying.
Now it's complete. The image is complete. Old man. I was trying, all right?
I also, like, when it comes to things that I don't understand about this, what's with Alan Tudyk getting roles like this?
What the hell, man? Like,
is he in this?
Paid a healthy sum to play the bloody toucan.
It's just obtuse.
I think it's a
weird in-joke at this point.
Yeah. It's cruel, is what it is. To poor Alan Tudyk.
He's accepting this.
He's the toucan on the boy's shoulder who doesn't do anything but blah or whatever, like twice.
Like
and
2 or 3 times.
Yeah, right.
He appears on the cast list on the Google.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
When you Google Encanto cast.
Yeah, he's now been typecast as the chicken from Moana. It's
it's really that is also very confusing. But I also thought, well, now that I'm on a roll, these miracle powers that people have been bestowed upon seem to be actually curses. Like half of the people don't want their powers.
The Storm Lady.
But yeah, the aunt who
Yeah, like
She's so moody.
she's just getting rained on
how is
24/7.
that? How is that helpful for
Yeah.
anyone?
And she has no power over it. It's her it's her
That's the
underlying
curse.
emotional state that causes the storms to happen. So she's
Yeah.
that's a curse. And then poor Bruno has these terrible insights into what's going to pass, and they come true. And he's like haunted by the fact that he's making it happen, or it's like a catch-22 situation with him.
Yeah.
That's not a cool power to have. It's like a terrible. You become like a pariah of the family, and rightfully so, because you've got a terrible curse on your head.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my main thoughts. I couldn't understand a goddamn thing in the songs or when anyone was referring to the main character's bloody name.
Ben, have you seen Hamilton?
No, I've not.
Okay, so how you feel about like what are they saying? That's how I feel watching Hamilton. I've only ever seen like the last half of Hamilton while sitting at a dinner table,
Okay, that might
and it was
have
on the other
something to do with
side.
it. Okay, Jason. Okay.
It was on the other side of the
You're digging
room.
yourself a hole here.
It's like saying I didn't understand this book,
yeah.
turned it upside down and flicked it.
Like, I wasn't trying to
understand.
I wasn't trying to understand the story. I was just trying to understand what they're saying.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like,
I know what you mean, Jace, but it certainly
you
is.
just dug yourself deeper. It's like, I don't like it, but I only seen the latter half. But hang on a second. But I was at the end of the table and I couldn't hear it properly. Terrible movie.
Yeah.
So
Terrible experience.
As far as a movie is concerned, okay, I'll just give you my cliff notes and I'll move on. It's not a great movie. I'm with Shane. I'm not 100% hyped after watching it for the first time. Like I'm confused as to why this movie's got so much fire. The stakes are that our super privileged rich family is going to lose their super magic powers, and that's something to care about, I guess. And half of them don't like them anyway. That's not the greatest motivation for the hero of the story or what have you. The main question I thought was like, why doesn't this girl deserve her own miracle power or whatever? And we never get an answer to that. It was kind of annoying. That's not really a terrible trope or anything, a sin of the film. But I was just really hoping to get an answer to that question. And I don't know, maybe her power is screwing up because she just keeps.
I like the joke. I like the joke that the little girl says, like, maybe your gift is denial.
Yeah, exactly. Her grandmother is constantly saying, like, we just need to keep up appearances just for the rest of the night. Just can you put a lid on this for just a second? And she's like, sorry, Grandma, I'll do my best. And then she's just fucking up again. Like, she just can't help but screw. Like, she says she just wants to help the family, but all she can do is make things worse constantly. I'm siding with the family on this one. I'm like, they're all turning at her and like, you know, it's the moment in Home Alone where he ruins pizza night or whatever, and the whole family's staring at him. When the uncle says, "Look what you did, you little jerk," or something like that, and then everyone's giving him the stink eye. That scene happens where everyone's kind of like, Mirabelle fucking sucks. She's ruined everything for everybody. And I'm like, yeah, she does. Sorry, I can fix the problem that the villain Mirabelle. But suffice to say, the rest of the movie has to happen with her as the protagonist, and that's fine, I guess. You said something, Shane, I disagree with. I wasn't laughing much. I couldn't get the same Pixar level. Here's the gags for you adults kind of adult acknowledgement from the film. I just felt like I'm watching a kids movie, not a family friendly film. It's just a kid friendly film. I don't know. I'm kind of done. And sorry, apologies. I forgot to write down any deeper takes and thoughts and so on while I was watching or afterwards. I just wrote them while you guys were talking about Boba Fett. So that's my impression. I think it was like it's been like 3 weeks since I watched the film.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Terry,
it's about 3 or 4 weeks. I similar after the first take. I do have some thoughts about the film. You have Disney consistently doing things that are outside of the archetype of the princess and the damsel in distress and the like rehash of Shakespearean stories, or the Brothers Grimm tales. I like the way that they did it in Frozen. I disliked the way they did it in Maleficent. I kind of like the way they handled it in this. The stakes and the villain and the thing to overcome in this film, to use a word that Twiggy's just put into a term, the generational trauma, this this idea that their powers are meant to be a blessing for the area, the region, and they allowed themselves to be defined by that. And the mother's like idea of this is what we stand for rather than this is who we are. And it's like this interplay of what are our identities, like who are we without our powers. And when they're faced with the reality of losing their powers, or and like the peeling back of the layers of these characters, where Mirabelle is talking with the sister that she hates the most because she just seems to be so perfect, but she's like, I hate that this is what I make. Like the pressure, and they all have this pressure put on them, and the strong
Oh,
one,
except for the one who just hears really well. How is she helping anybody in the village? It's like she's the gossip queen. Oh, did you hear what they just said about you down the street?
yeah.
Other than
Although,
that,
like,
what could it be?
she could be the message service. So she's like, someone down 3 blocks needs some assistance. You want to maybe go help? Like, she's
Early warning.
the switchboard. She's
Well,
the
that-
She's a
operator.
I
canary.
mean, the counterpoint to that
Yeah.
is like, how much help do these villagers need?
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
They can't
That's
walk down
true.
the road and
They can't
deliver a
help
message.
themselves. Like, how
Yeah.
do you end up with your donkeys upside down again? Like, I don't understand how. Yeah, I know what you mean. The fact that they have powers means that they end up getting taken for granted. But the fact that they all have a lid on, or a mask, or a face, or some type of false presentation of who they are as individuals, that's kind of been placed on them by this intergenerational pressure to be a particular thing, or to be a particular way. I love the scene where she's like zooming around with her sister and they're making cacti all over the place, and it's like cactus, like I don't know, I like cacti. They can be pretty as well. Some of their flowers are pretty amazing. And like I love in the scene, it just kind of pops up like a wart in the middle of this bed of roses, and she's like, I made that. And, like, I like that that's in this film, but I still don't necessarily think of this film as a great thing. I like what they tried to do. I like the way that they went about the villain not necessarily being a person or an entity. It was the villain of the story was this concept of not being true to yourself in some way, shape, or form, or being I don't know, shrouded in and held down by this familial pressure to be something that you're not, rather than being free to be who you are and express who you are. And I think that that's nice, but I think that this maybe isn't the best Disney film. I don't know. I think that I like that they're not doing the same thing again and again. In the same way that I liked that Frozen, it wasn't, they completely flipped on their head the Disney prince coming in and being the savior, because the literal prince was a douchebag that tried to murder her, and the scruffy ne'er-do-well kind of guy is the heartthrob for one of the main characters. But it was this love for one another that overwhelmed or overcame this curse aspect of the powers. Like, I like that. I don't think the Maleficent one did it as well. I don't know, maybe it doesn't translate so well into live action, when you have like literal princes and princesses. I don't know, maybe it's because the lady that plays Umbridge in the Harry Potter movies is in that film, and I just hate that lady so much. I don't know what made me dislike Maleficent, but this film, I thought about it when I watched it with Ben and Caitlin and Jen at Ben's place. I thought about it at the time. I haven't really spent any time thinking about it, except when I hear someone say Bruno, or I hear like, we don't talk about Bruno. I kind of think of it again, but it doesn't occupy any space in my head. until I start to think about, like, what do I actually think about this movie? What do I feel about this movie? What do I feel about the characters? And like the moral of the story is not a bad one, but it's probably not their strongest offering either. And I agree completely with Ben that there's too much information. They shortcut too hard at the start of the film, establishing who these people are, which I think serves the device that you're given this archetypal view of who they are as individuals, and they see themselves only through that lens of what they can do for the village, which is the problem. So maybe it's deliberate, and you're meant to have the incorrect view of who these characters are because they have the incorrect view of who they are and who they're supposed to be. But yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a hot mess, but still fun. Little one-liners were great. The children, like the kid with the coffee and like tweaking out, love that. I like the personality of the house. I thought that it had
that was nice.
a lot to offer.
It was like a magic carpet kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Definitely got magic carpet vibes from the house, and like the ability that it had to express itself in little physical ways and representations, and like the anthropomorphization of some of it as it was doing things, like, you know, window shutters would become eyebrows and stuff like that. I thought that was kind of cool. But aside from that, it's okay. I would recommend it. I think it's probably too deep a concept to really be approachable for kids, because I think wrestling with this idea of who you are as a person or who you are as an individual, that's not something you start to wrestle with until you're in your teens. Well, I think.
Yeah, like, to be honest, there's probably 100 movies I watched as a kid, and it was just color on the screen. You know,
yeah, color and noises.
I did not get it. Whatever the message was, I was not getting it.
Yeah, Mary Poppins. It's like, what's going on now? Step in time.
Yeah,
that's it.
Like the songs, you like
the songs, the fun, the dancing, the Dick Van Dyke. Yeah.
And if you're a little bit on the spectrum, it's like you just love the way that a character says a thing.
Yeah, sure.
I like the I knew this kid that would watch Godzilla movies and would rewind and replay scenes 15 times in a row, and we're talking the scenes where the Japanese generals are all in the room talking about what to do about Godzilla, like not the Godzilla parts that every other kid wants to watch. This is just obsessed with the way that scene played. Like there's no rhyme or reason to it. He's just like rewind, play, again and again, over and over. Can I give you a nice shade to throw at Encanto next time you want to talk about it not being like the greatest Disney movie, Terry? You could say,
yeah, sure.
Talking about Encanto, it's certainly the most when it comes to Disney movies, it's definitely the most recent.
That certainly is the most recent. I like that. That's good. That's like saying it's the best lasagna you've had all day.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the first one that you had, or the only one. But I like that.
I will agree that the I think the premise is probably the weakest part of the film, actually, in the fact that the magical ground rules that the film establishes sort of don't ring true. Like, why is the miracle, the candle, the house falling apart because Mirabelle and Abuela, like the grandmother, are arguing, when clearly the vision shows, like, if you heal the relationship with Isabel, then then this will all be rectified, sort of thing. So I do agree that like that part is weak. I think it's as a whole, the house and the candle and the miracle are a metaphor for the health of the relationships within the family. But when the film establishes that this is the core issue with the film, like the magic is fading, then you need a clear mechanical path to get to that. It's what Frozen does exceptionally well, is that to thaw a frozen heart, you need an act of true love. Okay, that is the very clear path to get to there.
I honestly thought they were trying to sow a thread with the grandfather who sacrificed himself thing, who turned into the candle, or however the hell that happened. Between him, like what was happening with the magic fading, I thought what was going to happen or be revealed was it was their connection to him and his love or memory was fading because they were forgetting their purpose of helping one another in the town, and instead they were obsessing over their duties and obsessing over the family, proper marriage assignments, and all that kind of junk that they were getting into.
Yeah.
But they didn't really make those two things joined: the sacrifice of the father figure, and the magic miracle candle.
Yeah,
never really joined together.
I like this in chat where he says, I like the theory that the miracle of the casita is the soul of Abuelo Pedro being upset seeing the damage that's been caused to the family over the years. Yeah, that's a nice theory. Someone mentioned, actually, Twiggy mentioned earlier as well, something about they had all these characters, but they weren't fleshed out enough to become interesting. I think that is very true of a lot of Walt Disney Animation Studios films. I specifically recall Big Hero 6, a lot of side characters introduced in the second act of that film that purposefully serve the action. And
that's
put
all
it down. I note it down as a negative, but I don't think it entirely is a negative, simply because like there's, unless you're going to fully explore a separate character arc, then what's the point of fleshing out these other characters? I like that the themes of expectation and pressure and being true to yourself are explored through specifically Louisa and Isabel, and through those two characters, that's enough of building that story, that theme, in what is an hour and 50-minute film, right? Like, this is a long-running film for a Disney film. So to our earlier point around them really being efficient at the start, I think if you expand upon that any further, you're pushing the 2-hour mark for what, like we said, is a family all ages film. So yeah, no, I think I think they're all fair criticisms, and to be fair, like, similar to Pixar, we say 91% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, 7.3 on IMDb. These are very, very good, but it's not the 98% that Moana got, or the 97% that Frozen has, or the 8 out of 10 that something like Zootopia has on IMDb, right? So it is just hitting below a lot of what's come recently. Even Raya and the Last Dragon, which I double checked to be sure, but it has a 94% Rotten Tomato rating. I would expect this to land higher. In fact, in my mind, I kind of see Encanto as above that film, but I think it's interesting to hear your guys' thoughts. I didn't expect you guys to be a bit lower on it than I was.
Got the same rating as Luca, and I'm all about Luca. Love Luca.
Luca's great.
Yeah.
Santa Gorgonzola. Love it.
I will say though, like, it does surprise me, Ben, that like you're so down on specifically, like, we don't talk about Bruno, and I think for me, like, when I hear this song again, I'm not like listening to it essentially musically. I am like transported to the film, and I'm seeing the characters move and the colors. And I think if you go back and look at the composition of We Don't Talk About Bruno, and the fact that like the color shifts between when Isabel sings towards the end, or where I forget the shapeshifter character's name, Camillo, I think his name is, and like it's underground and it's a lot of green, or when the storm's happening at the start, like I think it's a fantastic song for a Disney film. I don't, like, to your point, it's very story heavy. Let's just like give you information. So from like a music, listen to the radio song perspective, I can understand why you might be disconnecting as to why it is connecting so well.
Let me clarify. I'm not sitting here going like rubbish next or anything like that. I'm just like, this is, I just thought like this is one of the weaker of the songs. And then like absolutely flawed to learn that it's like more popular than Let It Go. Like I can't get over the fact that I don't understand that. Is really where my complaint's coming from. I'm of a mind that like sometimes if I think a movie is really trash, and we'll talk about Uncharted next week, but people like it, I will fight them about it, like, and try and prove the point that it's just objectively bad or whatever. But this is a more subjective film. Like, if you say you love it, I'm like, great. I'm sure there are reasons for you to like it, but I was just really bored. That kind of thing. Where I was bored, I can totally see how another person could love every dripping second of magic and singing.
Before we quickly wrap up, just a couple of things I want to mention. That things that I loved in this movie. Luisa's song "Surface Pressure" I thought was awesome. I love it. I love
Yes, that was good.
like the imagination in that song as well.
That's the one that visually stuck with me.
Yeah,
Like the visuals in that song have stuck with me, where the music and the lyrics haven't.
right. Yeah, the donkeys dancing in that one as well.
Yeah.
Doing the gyrating.
Yeah, that one from a visual point of view is much more like the Disney songs of old, where they're just like they're not even there anymore. They're just elsewhere, and she's like trying to hold like a column together or whatever, and it was kind of like a song from Emperor's New Groove or Hercules or Aladdin or whatever. And
Love Emperor's New Groove.
It kind of felt like the "You're Welcome" of this one. I suppose two very strong characters. Yeah. And for me, I love the whole scene when Giulietta overhears Mirabelle and her father saying, "We're going to keep this under wraps. No one's going to know." And then it pans to her. He's like, "I heard everything."
Yeah.
And at the dinner table, like Mirabelle would like look away for a second, look back, and then Giulietta's like whispering to the next person. And then Camillo like chokes on his food and morphs into Bruno, then someone else, and then his eyes are far apart. And then his dad says, "It's like, Camillo, fix your face." And he's like, back together.
Maybe that's why she had that power, just for that particular plot device of her overhearing the we're not going to tell anyone.
There was one small thing where Mirabelle approaches her about, "Have you heard anything about the magic changing?" And she says, "The only people worried about the magic fading are you and the rats in the walls talking," which is just foreshadowing of Bruno in the walls that we haven't yet discovered. So I did like that. Anyway,
that is good.
Encanto, it is on Disney Plus, so go and check it out for yourself.